Jewish state of Israel. The Jewish state of Israel is in the news. Is in the news day and night. I don't know what your news sources are, but I get the impression that a good portion of all the news coverage, at least at present, concerns the state of Israel. Okay? How many people? 7 million Jews there and living in the state of Israel, at the best, at the most. Maybe another 3 million inhabitants, 10 million altogether. And it's more important, and has more importance according to the news coverage than any other place on earth. And maybe that is biblically correct. Maybe that is how the Bible wants it. Maybe this is consistent with what the Bible says. And the Jews and the lost 10 tribes together comprise the 12 tribes of Israel. The Jews have the tribes of Judah, Levi, Benjamin. They are together, we're together in the kingdom of Judah, and from them come the basic core, the central body of the Jewish people. Others were added onto it in the course of time, but nevertheless the primary ancestors come from those 3 tribes. Also with the minority representatives of the other tribes, but most of the other tribes are amongst the lost 10 tribes in the West. Nachmanides spoke of this. He said that the other tribes, even though a lot of them are to be found amongst Judah, they're not mentioned or not stressed, not emphasized, because their primary expression of their tribal ancestry would be in their places of exile. Whereas Judah would find his primary focus of expression as Judah, amongst the Jews, as the Jewish people. And the Bible also talks a lot about Judah and emphasizes that they are the people we know as the Jews are Judah of the Bible. Some people sometimes doubt or disparage. So this too is worth knowing and worth noting that the Bible itself emphasizes this. Biblical terminology after the Assyrian Empire, after the Assyrian exile, the name Judah was to refer almost exclusively to the descendants of those Jews who kept their identity. So first of all, you had Abraham, Isaac and Jacob. Jacob was renamed Israel. From Israel you had 12 tribes. These 12 tribes were together, conquered the land of Israel, came out of Egypt under Moses, went through the wilderness, received the Torah, conquered the land of Israel, divided it up amongst the tribes. The judges and battle wars and comings and goings. Eventually King Saul from the tribe of Benjamin became the first king. Then came David, who established Jerusalem. Jerusalem was on the border between the tribe of Benjamin and Judah. He established Jerusalem as the capital. His son was King Solomon, who built the temple in Jerusalem. And the son of King Solomon was Rehoboam. In the time of Rehoboam in Hebrew, Rehoboam. 10 of the northern tribes, the 10 northern tribes separated, and they set up their own kingdom. And Jeroboam in Hebrew, Jeroboam, the son of Nabat, in the north. And the area became known as Samaria, where the 10 tribes were separated. After this separation, a few centuries later, the Assyrians from Assyria conquered them, took them into exile, and relocated them, transported them. This was a way of the Assyrians to uproot peoples and take peoples from there, peoples from there, and to put them in other places, and then bring peoples from that same place where they put the colonists and bring them back to the places that they'd uprooted the others from, which peoples are around. That way it was easier to control them, and the new colonists would be dependent upon them for supplies, for protection, for direction. And that way they were able to control the peoples that they conquered. And due to internal politics and outside attacks from outside. The Assyrian Empire shortly afterwards went through a period of crisis, so that the majority of the 10 tribes were able to free themselves, and they linked up with other peoples, confederated with others in the same boat as themselves, and they migrated, and their pathways of migration took them through different regions. One pathway of migration was through the Caucasus Mountains into what is now southern Russia, from southern Russia through Eastern Europe into Western Europe and across the sea to the British Isles. Another pathway of migration was by way of the sea. There were Philistines and Phoenicians, or people who modern scholars refer to as Philistines and Phoenicians, and others, often of Greek and Mycenaean culture, who participated in the transportation, exile and transportation of Israelites to the west, and some of them were settled by them in the British Isles to develop the mineral resources in those regions. In Cornwall, you had tin and other minerals. In Wales, you had copper. Much of the copper and the tin of the ancient world came from Cornwall in southwest Britain, and from copper from Wales in western Britain. And these were very important minerals at that time, at the end of the Bronze Age, because you needed these minerals to make bronze. Bronze is an alloy, a combination of copper and tin, and has qualities that were needed at that time. And so they were supplied from the British Isles by these materials. Also in Ireland, there was much gold and other minerals. And even now there's gold in Ireland, but for some reason or other, the Irish government does not encourage people to go looking for gold. Technically, you find any gold in Ireland, it belongs to the government, so people don't want to look around for it. If they do look around for it, they don't tell others about it. But it's there, and they had very good artifacts. Artifacts of very high quality in the Bronze Age were produced in Ireland in great quantities, gold. So it's worth knowing. And if any of you over there in Ireland hears me speaking and goes out and looks for something and finds something, just remember who you got the hint from. Anyway, getting back to what we're talking about. That was one of the things the exiles were used for, developing mineral resources. Also in Spain, for a while they were in Spain in the great estates, agricultural estates. And exiles from Israel have been proved to have been given over to work for them. Eventually those in Spain, most of the Israelites in Spain moved out. They moved to the north into Brittany and France, also into France, and further north into Scandinavia. They also moved into Ireland, and they moved into the British Isles. And that is how the Lost in Tribes got to those regions. Meanwhile, the Jews remained. The Assyrians took away 10 of the tribes. Most of the population they took away. They left behind them the kingdom the area that became known as the Kingdom of Judah, which had the tribes of Judah and Benjamin. Later, most of the tribe of Levi also joined them. Also refugees or scattered remnants here and there from the 10 tribes who had not all gone away with the Assyrians also came in and joined Judah. But nevertheless, the whole body is referred to as Judah, even though in effect it had representatives of all of the 12 tribes, especially those of Judah, Benjamin and Levi. It's all known as Judah. And the others are not emphasized according to Nahmanides, who wrote about this. And Nahmanides writes at length about this, and he says that the Bible especially, specifically, expressly, does not emphasize members of the lost 10 tribes being amongst Judah, because Judah was to give expression to Judah, to the southern tribes, with the 10 tribes in their places of exile were to give expression there to their tribal proclivities and their tribal destiny. So that is worth noting. He also said the lost 10 tribes are in Zarephath in the far north, at the ends of the far north, he said. And they will be there until the end times and will fight against Edom, generally taken to mean Germany, Rome, or other related entities. So we had the Jews. The Jews left behind, and by the Jews I mean all the inhabitants of Judah. And the Jews, 150, 140 years after the 10 tribes had gone away, the Babylonians captured Judah and took them into exile, took most of them into exile, and they went to Babylon. That by Babylon we mean the whole area of Mesopotamia, what became the Persian Empire of history, the major portion of it, Mesopotamia and all that region, Iraq of today and parts of Persia. That was where the Jews were resettled. After 70 years, the king of Persia, Cyrus, had been allied with the Medes, and the Medes and the Scythians eventually conquered and subdued and destroyed, in effect destroyed the Syrian Empire. Iraq of today and parts of Persia, that was where the Jews were resettled. After 70 years, and then they in turn were conquered by the Persians, who had been allies of theirs, and the king of Persia, Cyrus, allowed the Jews to return to Judah and